Tonight, a strange new twist in the alleged homegrown terror plot. Why was the fourth suspect arrested, released, then arrested again?
What's unusual is that I got him out.
A day of dueling rallies.
Something beyond imagination is happening.
Two visions of patriotic pride on a special anniversary.
You don't know who you messing with.
And the first of its kind.
For the first time, we have a map.
The secrets of the Titanic in high definition 3D.
We're seeing things that we haven't seen before.
CTV National News with Sandy Ronaldo.
Good evening. We begin with some dramatic developments in the investigation into an alleged homegrown terror operation. CTV News has learned that more arrests are imminent. 4 Canadians are already behind bars accused of plotting to bomb their fellow citizens. But the 4th alleged member of the terror cell is actually being held on unrelated charges. It's another confusing turn in a case that's short on facts but fueling plenty of speculation. CTV's Richard Madden reports.
He arrived in the back of a police truck, and police say he's the 4th Canadian suspect of the alleged homegrown terrorist cell. But Aso Pashdari's charges had nothing to do with terrorism.
He was arrested on an assault charge and a threats charge. We had a hearing on those charges.
But after that hearing, a strange twist. Pashdari was first released on bail, but quickly arrested again with new charges of uttering threats. That will keep him in custody for at least another day.
What's unusual is that I got him out at this early stage.
But then you got it back in.
And then he's back in, and I'll have another run at it tomorrow, and we'll see what happens.
Well, there's no known evidence linking him to the 3 others accused of plotting to bomb Canadians. This security expert says this may be a tactic to keep Pashdari detained until police can find charges that stick.
I think it will be a question of buying time. Are they buying time to find the right accusation or buying time to find the right judge?
The 3 other suspects are already in custody. One is a former Canadian Idol contestant, and they all face terror-related charges. As Pashdari's family hid their faces leaving the courthouse, his lawyer says they were all shocked by the charges.
They were displeased, unhappy.
Details of this case are under a publication ban which restricts us from reporting evidence at the hearing. In the meantime, though, police sources tell CTV News that more arrests are imminent. Sandy.
Okay, thanks, Richard. CTV's Richard Madden in Ottawa. The American capital was a city divided today by the Lincoln Memorial and 2 very different views of America. 47 years after Martin Luther King inspired a generation when he said, "I have a dream." Today, tens of thousands of conservative protesters delivered a wake-up call, but critics say the right-wing rally was just wrong. CTV's Washington Bureau Chief Paul Workman explains.
The hallowed steps of the Lincoln Memorial, surrounded by a huge, sprawling crowd. Hello, America! And there he was, one of the most provocative right-wing talk show personalities in America, on a moral and religious crusade. Something beyond imagination is happening. America today begins to turn back to God. Glenn Beck, the man who once called President Barack Obama a racist.
Who has a deep-seated hatred for white people or the white culture. I don't know what it is.
Who infuriated civil rights leaders by choosing this place and this day to organize a rally, dedicated, he said, to restoring American honor. I have a dream. Exactly 47 years after Martin Luther King inspired the nation with his most famous words in front of the same great monument. Glenn Beck says it was pure coincidence, divine providence, in fact, that he chose this day to speak on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. Black leaders called the whole spectacle offensive. We are marching! We are marching! Hours later, African-American leaders held their own march, sharing the same ground, fighting over the same dream.
They may have the mall, but we have the message. They may have the platform, but we have the dream.
I support Martin Luther King's causes. All these people do.
All of these people, overwhelmingly white, largely middle-aged, and thrilled to hear Sarah Palin speak.
I've been asked to speak as the mother of a soldier.
Beck put the crowd at hundreds of thousands. U.S. Parks officials would only say it was large. Paul Workman, CTV News, Washington.
Now to Chile and the agonizing wait for the rescue of 33 men trapped in a collapsed silver mine. Yesterday, the world saw remarkable video showing the men in high spirits despite 3 weeks underground. But some observers say we should also pay close attention to something not seen in the video and what it could mean for the miners in the months ahead. CTV's Tom Walters picks up the story.
700 meters above the trapped miners, Camp Hope is living up to its name. We are calmer now, knowing they are fine, she says. But while a policeman puts on a puppet show for the youngest relatives, the miners are still like the marionette, hanging by a thread. Their slender lifelines are 3 boreholes, just a few centimeters in diameter. Sent down, water and food, the means of their survival. And sent back up, the proof of it. In this remarkable video, they appear to be in good health and even good humor. Get him outside so he can get a shower, one jokes.
What you're seeing right now is very time limited. It's that initial euphoria.
Psychologists are encouraged, though, by something unspoken. Physical touching, the kind of contact that says, we're a team. But it's a team facing something unprecedented, waiting perhaps until Christmas for a tunnel just wide enough to squeeze through. The best hope today is that it can be drilled in 2 months instead of 4. But 9 of the men will still have to lose weight to fit through it. And worrying to officials, the 5 who refuse to appear in this video. They're said to be depressed, and that's an emotion that can spread.
In that despair, they really lose the will to live, and that's the greatest concern I have for them at this point.
Then again, at least one made it through the worst of Chile's earthquake 6 months ago. And inside the mine, there was plenty of will to live in the days before they were found. They were buried alive, with no way to tell anyone they were alive, and no way to know they would ever get out. And yet, day after day, and then week after week, with no communication and almost no food, they clung to hope, wondering if rescuers would give up. After 17 agonizing days before seeing that first shaft of light from the surface, what they have already overcome may be far worse than waiting for a tunnel at the end of the light. Tom Walters, CTV News, Los Angeles.
We have an update now on a Canadian survival story. This was Dustin LaFortune after he became the victim of an alleged case of torture. And this is how he looked today when he began appearing in public after treatment. LaFortune was interviewed outside the Regina Hospital where he was dropped off in April. And here's what he had to say to reporters today.
I'm just happy that I survived. You know, I was in rough shape there for a long time.
The once athletic man told police he had been beaten, starved, and tortured by his roommate. He weighed just 87 pounds. The accused, Dustin Paxton, was arrested this week and faces several charges, including aggravated assault and forcible confinement. After months of reconstructive surgery and therapy for brain injuries, LaFortune is now ready to leave hospital.
Oh, I went there.
I can do everything, you know, that I need for myself now, which I wasn't able to do before.
On Monday, he will move to Victoria to live with his parents and continue his slow journey to recovery. A worldwide search for an elusive doctor has ended in Greece. Walid Abdelhamid was in Winnipeg last year on a training visa when he was accused of sexually assaulting a teenage patient. He fled after being released on bail. Authorities are working at bringing him back to Canada, but there is fear the doctor could run again. CTV's Stacey Ashley has the story.
He was captured after a year on the run.
Our goal is to bring this individual to justice and have him answer to these charges.
Walid Abdelhamid was arrested in Greece at a Crete airport as he tried to board a plane bound for Austria. The Libyan-born doctor is accused of sexually assaulting a teenage boy twice while he slept in his bed at a children's hospital in Winnipeg. Abdelhamid disappeared last July, only a month after he was granted bail. At the time, both police and the Crown opposed his release, stressing the 31-year-old was a flight risk.
One condition of his bail was that he had to surrender his passport. So how the doctor managed to cross international borders remains a mystery. His father is a wealthy, high-ranking official with the Libyan government. Some believe those connections helped him escape.
Child advocate Ross Prober believes more needs to be done on an international level to track suspects and predators trying to cross borders.
We don't have the tools for those trying to protect children in that global environment to know who the bad guys are. That's a problem.
Winnipeg police are now in the process of bringing Abdelhamid back to Manitoba to face charges.
Our ultimate commitment, too, is to the victim and the family who have gone through a significant ordeal here. And, we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that this matter plays out.
But extradition could take some time, weeks, even months. And with the doctor set to make his first appearance in a Greece courtroom in September, police are concerned he will request bail and try to run once again. Stacey Ashley, CTV News, Winnipeg.